Welcome back. I am your host Zorion with another episode here on DownRiver SMP. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. If you are new here, you can check out what I've been working on here. I need to make some farms, and not just any old farms. I need farms that produce blocks. Kinda like this bamboo farm. It makes the new 1.20 bamboo blocks, which look really nice and I will be using for a lot of my builds. And I'll need to do some villager trades, more specifically, masons. That type of villager will give me all the varieties of colored terracotta for all my future builds. To get masons, I'll first need to make a villager breeder. If you've never made one before, don't worry, they're very simple to set up, but I'm not going to be doing a tutorial in this video today. The farm will use waterlogged slabs to hydrate farmland to grow carrots. These carrots will be the food supply for 2 farmer villagers to endlessly make babies. I started with placing some dirt. Placed the trapdoors to trick the villagers' pathfinding. Dug out the water channel. Placed signs to limit the water flow. Filled in the water channel with water. Tilled the dirt into farmland. Built a roof to keep my villagers safe. I installed the on-off switch in the wrong spot, but fixed this later on. This line of redstone dust will power the pistons, pushing stone blocks below, blocking the path to the beds. Lastly, I planted carrots that will serve as the food source for the village farmers. With all that finished, you can see that it is working. I even had to turn off the machine to make sure I didn't get overpopulated. With the villager breeder finished, I was thinking about what other types of blocks I could use, and my first thought was kelp. So I built a kelp farm. So my first attempt at making a kelp farm was wrong. So I started off this farm by correcting my mistakes and putting up a new wall where needed. Put in more signs to block water flow. I saw another video when researching kelp farms that used fence gates, which is another good option. These signs at the top will allow the floating drops to flow over and fall down into another water channel. I then installed the water sources for the kelp to grow. Built a roof because I like to keep things protected. I don't want anything inside. Removed the old rail collection system. Then I installed a water collection system and finally installed the kelp. And with that, farm number 2 is finished. And the cool thing about kelp farms is that they're scalable. So I went ahead and built a second module right next to it. The last farm we're building today is an iron farm. Now, the key to an iron farm is forcing the iron golem where to spawn. I went ahead and bottom slabbed the floor and surrounding cliff edges. Since I'm building this underground, I took extra precautions to force the spawn location. The machine starts with building the mob chambers. For this to work, there needs to be 3 villagers, 3 beds, and 1 zombie. In goes villager number 1. Villager number 2. Villager number 3 got to ride in style. And captured number 4. With all the villagers secured, I moved to the breeding platform and placed fences around the perimeter. It was at this point where I lost villager number 3 and had to replace him with number 4. But I knew the iron farm was working because there was an iron golem up top. When placing the hoppers, I like to put them underneath the fences to prevent items from spilling over. I then placed signs on the fence to hold the lava source. Don't ask me why wooden signs don't burn up from lava, but they hold the lava in place, preventing the lava from spilling over. And finally, I installed the water to push the iron golem into the lava. And finished. The design I've built in the past wasn't working quite the way I wanted to, and after a little bit of research, I managed to find a simple solution. It provides enough iron to sustain my needs. For now. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you made it this far into the video, I hope that means you enjoyed it, and you'll smash the like button and consider subscribing. Have a wonderful time, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.